Welcome to Pacifica, Night City's vacation resort for the ultra wealthy. Or at least it was meant to be that, until politics and wars inside and outside the Night City turned it into an unfinished mess full of lawless violence and beautiful beaches of litter. This is the third part of the series where I look into a portion of Night City with an absolute detail and without mercy. Everything I find, raw and unfiltered. We will find even more strange and interesting things, all without showing any quests or story related missions at all. I use absolutely no mods and I don't follow any external guidelines. Pacifica is one of the more unkept parts of Night City and definitely looks the part. There's practically no part of this part of the map that is not messy or littered. It just really goes to show that there are the good parts and the bad parts of this city. One interesting fact about Pacifica for me personally is that while I have almost 300 hours in Cyberpunk, I don't think I have ever actually explored this specific part of the map at all. Which means that there is gonna be probably a lot of things for me that are very interesting and hopefully for you too. And to start off, there is gonna be very not interesting detail that I noticed just now when I was recording, and that was that this metal fence or mesh, whatever you wanna call this, the way it works is that when you get up close you can actually see through it, but when you get further away, instead of seeing through it, you see this image that is just acting like something you see through. And to me it was really interesting because I don't think there's any real reason to do this, maybe beside saving a little bit of memory. Not sure, maybe it looks better, maybe the devs figure out this looks better like that, but you can clearly see when the image starts and when you can actually see through the texture as intended. This Pacifica hotel is also special because this is the place where you actually get to visit up close throughout one of the main Cyberpunk missions. I will obviously not be spoiling you what is happening in this part of the story, but for those who went through the story to completion, you will probably recognize this place. Unfortunately, besides the obvious room where you can get into as the only room in this hotel, there is nothing to really look at anyway. After giving another veteran some change, I stumbled upon a random window where I could hear a strange sound, and I will leave it up to you to decide what this sound means. There's a lot of things in this game that I have never really seen before, but maybe it's just lack of attention on my part. Anyway, I have never seen people with metal detectors in this game before, so this was for me the first time, and I don't know, it kind of reacted like seeing a unicorn, so here's some people with a metal detector. Once done on the scrapyard slash beach, I've ended up on top of the underwater tunnel entrance. In here, there is only one thing of note, another random encounter mentioning Placide. You remember Placide, right?
Netwatch. They always out to fuck us.
This isn't anything super special, but it is the first time I've seen Placide mentioned in a data shard. Voodoo boys are usually pretty touchy when it comes to the data privacy, so this was a little odd to find. And also these are not cops, they are Netwatch, and they even have their own badge. While I'm here, I've cleaned up the beach a little. Then I kept going until I found this amazing exchange. I don't usually mock or laugh at Cyberpunk's bugs on this channel, but I thought this was just way too good not to show you. Say what you will, bugs are like half of this game's personality. Okay, now is a great time to mention something you may not know. Pacifica is a bit special.
This is special!
In lore, this part of the city was never finished for political reasons, and I only assume that CDPR felt it appropriate to follow the trademark and also didn't finish about 1/5 of it. No, I'm not joking. It's not just the buildings though. There's an entire segment that is literally walled off and just kinda lying around unfinished. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that I take it personally every time an open world game puts up a wall. Which is why the next couple of minutes are going to be just raw unfinished map. Part of me actually wanted to skip this in the video, mainly because there is not much to show you here, but I decided against it simply because of how painfully easy it is to get out of bounds in this part of the map. Okay, listen up. This part of the map right here is fully accessible to anyone. What you want to do is jump over this fence and yeah, that's it. What you are looking at right now is my surprise at how easy this was. Ironically, only a couple feet from here there is a big ass invisible wall, but this fence you can just hop over no problem. As you could have guessed, my first stop was going around the hill back to the wall we ran into. Turns out it's more of an invisible square, which is pretty common box off mechanic used not just by CDPR. Unlike everyone else, though, CDPR makes them very easily jumpable from one side. What you are seeing me doing here is just holding W and pressing space. I have double jump, but you don't really need it. Though if you don't have it, you're kinda silly. After some Mirror's Edge level parkour, yes, I'm impressive, I know. Finally landing on the other side of the wall, and there is nothing to look at, to no one's surprise. Still, it was fun. Oh yeah, did I tell you that the game literally quick saved once I got out of bounds? It's like they planned on me being here. Running up the other side of the hill, I spotted a smoke. Fully prepared to be disappointed, I went full throttle towards it. I will now give you a couple of seconds to guess on your own what this smoke could possibly be. Trust me, if you feel disappointment, you are doing it right. And now I will just show you in silence all the things you can find in this forbidden portion of Pacifica. Eventually, you can make your way back to the other side of these walls that separate you from the playable area. Which, I'm gonna be honest, kind of feels like a jail to me. But hey, at least these walls are visible. You will probably notice me probing these caravans or mobile homes, and I can explain that. See, I thought there is some reason for these things being in here, but that is the old me, the naive me that sees light and potential in everything. Fuck. Everything hurts in this game. The new me, however, upon inspecting the recorded footage, realized this is here just because that's all you can see through the gate. There are palm trees inside the road. Nothing's on purpose. After a bit more digging, purely for a sense of completion, I present you with my favorite part of this whole segment and probably the entire video. That's right, I just popped right back out. It felt like walking out of a Narnia closet. From here I, by luck, found an old side job location. In that side job you steal a car and drive it away. But I found something interesting when going back in here. If you go all the way in the back, there is a jukebox.
Time to die!
The same one we found in the last video I made, except this one can be interacted with. And by that I mean obviously it only takes your money. There's no actual function happening as far as I can tell, besides that it takes your money every time you press a button. Just like last time, this feels like it was abandoned in the middle of the development, so now would be a good time to address the Ferris wheel in Pacifica. It may surprise you, but the cards are actually fake, like not even collision. But it is somewhat possible to climb up to about a half of it. Well, as usual, there is not a lot to do beside looking down, so the next stop is the building next to the wheel. This is the place where you do the Placide mission, and also later you can do the final boxing match here, I think. Yet again, climbing all the way up is blocked by a giant wall that can be jumped by bullying your spacebar repeatedly. Once up here, the only logical thing to do was to take a couple of snaps. Next to the Ferris wheel, behind this building, there is this kart track. I'm sure there is a real name for this, but I can't think of it. There is an actual mission that lets you ride this, but I forgot if I already got through it in this run. Anyways, next to this thing, there is a pier spot that felt a little bit off. It really looks like a car just swang right through into the water. So nothing left but to look. It didn't take long before I found yet another sign trying to make me stop exploring. So I used the video editing magic for maximal disrespect. Okay, I can feel you judging me right now. I promised to not use any mods or any tools for my exploring, and that's true. And if you don't want to take my word for it, here's a guide. Jump up here, then onto this building, then on this rail, and here we are. Unfortunately, besides the rush of getting out of bounds, you will find nothing here. One thing I can show you is another where to be train station. That is obviously going to just rot in here. It's a high time I've addressed the water in Pacifica. Wait, don't you skip? The water here has actually some stuff in it. There is one thing I found right under one of the bridges. There is a point where you can sort of glitch out of the water and drop on the ground, like there is no water at all. Obviously just a bug, but it was kind of neat anyway. Except the game still thinks you are underwater, so you can't really hang around too long.
I am under the water. Please help me.
Swimming along the edge, I had one more idea. There is the underwater tunnel I have mentioned before. And I knew it has windows, but I wasn't sure if they are actual functioning windows or just pictures. So I went to investigate that, and to my surprise, they are actual windows in the ground below water. To test this, I dropped an item and went inside the tunnel to check it out. Indeed, a real window. Not that far from here, just below one of the piers, there is a dead man. And in here, we finally get a Witcher 3 reference even I can recognize. To boil it down, he gives you a location of a loot spot in the water. When you go there it is. It's that obvious Witcher 3 reference that I'm so confident in I didn't even look it up. The loot was really not great, but the Easter egg was neat. And I was honestly glad to find it too, because I was struggling how to end this video. If my calculations are correct, this video will be probably a little shorter than the previous ones, and that's even including both parts of Pacifica. There's just not a whole lot to show, which I did not know at the time of picking this location. Nevertheless, I'm happy with exploring this part. It has some strong Dead Island vibes with all the beach areas. So once again, I hope you had fun turning over rocks with me. I will plug my Twitter as always, so in case of interest you can go follow me there. I do sometimes post updates about the channel, but mostly it's random stuff. Alright, you have yourself a nice cup of bottled water. See ya.